Hello everybody, this is Murray back with you again for the January 18th and 19th edition of the Lavaca County News Report. And I've got Michelle Price here with me again. How are you, Michelle?
I'm great, Murray. Thanks for having me back. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Now, folks, we got a whole lot of news in these 4 papers, and we haven't had a whole lot of time to read over them. So you need to go to LavacaCountyToday.com or to your newspaper and get all the details, because believe me, there's a lot in here. We're going to start off with the Hallettsville Tribune-Herald, and on our front page, we've got that plane crash. It's a 6-column picture all the way across the front page. Did you have anything you want to say about that, Michelle? Or
no, just that my heart goes out to those that lost their lives and their families, and then the lone survivor that give him the strength to get through the next days and months and years to follow such a tragedy. Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. And one of the gentlemen is the one that owns the Circle. What is it, Circle Y?
Circle Y, yes, sir.
Yeah. But basically, I just wanted to, like Michelle said, we want to offer our condolences to the family and to the employees and everything else over there. So we wish them the best. I'm going to go ahead on now with this El Campo team winning the state domino tournament. And this story was written by Jimmy Apple. And it's the 71st annual Texas State Championship Domino Tournament. And it was underway just before midnight on Sunday. And according to Jimmy, these folks from El Campo, Al North and Daniel Hardway won. They defeated Dave Ballard of Fresno and Haven Keys of Houston. Now that just tells you right there how many people get involved with this domino tournament.
Yeah, that's a lot of teams. And I asked Jimmy today, do they play straight or 42? Because I wasn't sure on that, but he said it's straight.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to read the whole story. I don't know how many people participated, but we have a picture of the winners that's on the front page of the Tribune. I'm going to move on. We're going to say a little something about our buddy Henry Joe Yashek. I don't think he likes it when I mention him, so I'll mention him anyway. But you need to read Henry Joe's Town Chatter. He's always got something interesting in it, and this one here looks like it's pretty large, so be sure and check that out.
And he has a pretty cool trivia question, so make sure you call in those answers.
Yeah, he gets calls all during the week, seems like. Then Jimmy Apple's got another story on page 3A about the 91st Annual Chamber Banquet to take place on January the 25th here in Hallettsville. Now, folks, I was sitting in my office the other day looking out the window. I can see all the traffic on 90A or Fairwinds or whatever we call it now. And I was sitting there and I was mostly through with my work. And I couldn't believe my eyes because I saw a big yellow banana driving down the road. So I went up to the front office and asked Connie and Michelle if they had seen it. First thing they did was ask me if I'd been smoking anything, but I hadn't been. But I was beginning to think that maybe I was losing my mind. But now we find out that it is true, and we have a picture here that says, now there's something you don't see every day. And I'll admit I had never seen it before.
We had a hard time believing Murray saw that, but Murray's an honest man.
Oh, yeah. But that was unusual. I think they made a stop out at the high school. I believe I saw some pictures at the high school. And I don't know exactly all the details about that car. I think they had been in Victoria. Do you know anything else about it?
Yeah, Victoria, I think Port Lavaca, and then the soccer team was on pictures with it. So I think he gives rides. Looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it does. It looks good. And then we have this big, now was this a double page ad?
It was a double page ad.
And you did it.
I did, and we thank all of our sponsors that definitely put in ads. It means a lot. This is going to be a great livestock show. There's a lot of kids, a lot of names. So if you get a chance, go out this weekend, support them, give them best wishes like these advertisers did. They work really hard all year, and this is when it pays off.
You bet, and we appreciate all our advertisers because they pay our salary, you might say. So thanks to all of you that did advertising and, of course, supporting the kids. You know, that's the main thing. We're going to move on over to Section B now and check out our lead sports editor, Chuck Cross, sports page. I'm going to talk about Chuck's column. Last week we talked about that Chuck didn't speak real favorably about the Cowboys. And I admit they did look bad. But I said I didn't think Chuck might not know how many Cowboy fans there are around. But after that game Sunday, I believe it was, might have been Monday, he has a complete turnaround, and he's bragging on the Cowboys. So don't get mad at him. He's doing real good. But the top story that he's got is called End of a Great Run, and it's about Coach Tommy Pisak. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Pisak.
Yes, sir.
And he's retiring, and he's got a great, outstanding record, and Chuck has it all in this story, and I'm looking forward to getting home where I can read the whole thing. But I met the coach one time, and he's one of the friendliest, nicest men that I have ever met. So I wish him all the best. I'm sure we're going to miss him here because he's a great coach.
Coaching's one of those fields that's hard. My husband's a coach, and I know how that lifestyle is, but I'm happy he's had 13 years, and it's really all about the journey and making the memories, and he's made some great ones, and we're happy he made them here in Hallettsville towards the end, and good luck on the next chapter in his life, for sure.
You bet. And Chuck has a few more stories about basketball and winners here and there. You're just going to have to go look at it, folks, because we can't cover all that in this little podcast. You know of anything else offhand that you want to talk about?
Except I did read your story about Deaf Smith, and so I highly recommend others checking it out. There's a lot to learn about him, including how he got his nickname Deaf and how his history in Texas. So definitely give Murray a good shout out by just reading it and enjoying that article.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Michelle. I sometimes think I might brag on myself too much.
Never, Murray.
So that's why I didn't mention it. But anyway, I believe that pretty well covers the Tribune. So we're going to move on over now. We're going to Michelle's hometown.
That is right. Very proud to be from Shiner, Texas, where lots always going on.
You bet. We're going to see if our internet will cooperate with us where I can keep looking at it on the web. If not, we'll have to just depend on Michelle to look at all these hard copies. Okay. Bobby Hariska, our managing editor, has got a large front page story. The headline reads, "I'm going to hold you to it." And it's about this young lady that, I had her name, Jade Marie Patek, and all the things that she has accomplished in her musical career. And she's a hometown girl. I don't know if they're from Hallettsville.
Her dad's originally from Shiner, but then he was the superintendent in Hallettsville and Visherad. So definitely from the area.
You need to check her out. She looks to me like she's got a lot of potential, and I'm sure that it'll be fun following her career. Also, Bobby has a story on the front page. It says a Shiner man sentenced to 60 years in prison. Now, I'm not going to go into that. I just want you to know that's on the front page. If you want to read it, you can read it. Okay? We're going to move on now. Equipping the Saints is slated for February 4th in Victoria. If you think anything, jump in there, Michelle.
Okay.
I actually don't see much until we get to the sports.
Yeah, there was an article on the first page about the school bond. I definitely, especially if you're Shiner residents, highly recommend you reading it. The kids do have a great school going, but space is getting limited. As they said, it's been a 10-year growth, and I can attest my daughter's in 5th grade and has 60 plus kids in her class, so they're in 3 classrooms already, so definitely check that out. They have big decisions to make there.
That was written by our managing editor, Bobby Hariska. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you got before we go to sports?
No. Let's talk about those Comanches.
All right. Mark Luby, our sports editor in Shiner, and Mark does Yoakum and he does Moulton. And his lead story says Comanches hot from the floor in a rout of Louis, and the score was 84-51. So that's an interesting story. He's got a picture. He's got another story about the Lady Comanches concluding their first round undefeated. They are 6-0. And then he's got stories about the St. Paul girls, went 2-1 last week, and the St. Paul Cardinals won by 27. So like I said, you just need to check them out because he's got several other stories that I'm sure you'll be interested in. And, of course, the plane crashes in here as it will be in all our papers. But I think we covered it enough. Sad situation. And we got that story about the Domino Championship by Jimmy Apple and a picture. Oh, yeah, folks, be sure and check out your classifieds in all the papers. If you're looking for help or you're looking for somebody to work on something or you want to sell a house or you want to sell anything, don't forget these classifieds. I think you have a little to do with that every now and then, don't you?
I work on those weekly. So, and also the creditor reports and anything like that, they may seem sometimes like something not important, but there's a lot of information in that classified section that tells you what's going on and what's out there.
Yeah, it's very important. Just like I try to promote those classifieds every week, and I try to promote our website, lavacacountytoday.com. I encourage you to look at that website because there may be things on there that you're not going to see in the regular paper. I know I've put some obituaries up there before they were ever printed in the paper. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, well, check it out. You might like what you see. We're going down now. I think that's all of Shiner.
Yep. We're
going to move on over to the Yoakum Herald Times. And if the internet will cooperate with me again, yeah, there it is. Okay. And being as that plane crash was near Yoakum, it's also on the front page there. And the independent journalist that used to be here with us and used to be my podcast partner, Hans Lemmerman, he has an article on the front page about the city opting for third-party billing services. And Hans also has his history column. It's called Yesteryear in Yoakum. It's on page 3A. And just different articles and meetings and
yes, and Yoakum had their livestock show last week, so the front page also has that Grand Champion steer. It's a good looking steer for whatever that's worth. I'm not much of the livestock girl, but I know a good steer when I see one, and that looks like a good one. And then I think there's more results inside.
On page 6A, they've got the 2023 Yoakum Stock Show donations, so you'll get all the coverage on the stock show in all our papers and in all our towns where one's being held. I guarantee you it'll be covered. And then we go to Mark Luby's sports page in the Herald Times, and he's got the Bulldogs winning their first district win. And then he's got more stories about the Bulldogs winning district games against Palacios and Edna, and the Lady Bulldogs win against Port Lavaca Calhoun. So you need to check out that sports page. Anything you need to...
I saw it must be still coming up about the cheerleaders. Is that coming up still?
You know,
maybe the Yoakum cheerleaders, they went to the state championships. Where I saw it, but it's in there somewhere, I promise you, and I want to give them a shout out. There they are.
There they are.
And it's the first time that they've ever made it to the top 10, to the finals and to the top 10, so congrats to those ladies. It looks like a big group that worked hard to get where they were.
Yeah, they do. They deserve all this attention because they do work hard. And that's on the same page, I believe, where we were at, 6A, because the stock show donations was right below that, I believe. But anyway, I think that's going to pretty well cover it, unless you have something else.
Oh,
Michelle.
That's pretty much it for there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we got this Rise Up for Life thing going on at a pro-life rally, and that's in several of the papers, and I've also got that on Lavaca County Today.
And I think I did have something about the Lysol wipes donation to Yoakum High School and DeWitt Special Ed. It's a nationwide, I think, campaign that's going on, but they got $30,000, which will save them about $134,000 this year. So after COVID, it was very much hard to find those Lysol wipes. So I know that they're happy to get them now and keep the classrooms clean and help them save on that.
You bet. And this story here is the St. Joseph Tigers hosting a basketball tournament. And it's got pictures of them and the names and all of that. I don't know. I don't see a credit here, so I don't know if Mark Luby wrote that or if that was something that was submitted. But anyway, we need to not forget the St. Joseph Tigers. Sometimes we get carried away with the Bulldog sports and we forget these folks. Well, it's
we're really lucky. It's pretty amazing that 3 out of 4 of our towns that we cover have both private and public schools.
You bet.
And they're both very successful in all places.
Okay, let's jump on over to Moulton.
All All right.
And take a look at the Molten Eagle. And the front page, big winners, stock show. And Bobby put this page together, and he's got some big pictures of the kids that won and their animals, and it's just really good. He did a great job with that front page. And he's got an article about the Wild Game Supper that's going to be held January 28th, and that's at the Hallettsville KC Hall. So you might want to take that in. And he has a story about the grand jury indicts 18 people. Then there's a plane crash again, and my column again that Michelle was so nice to mention. And then we got stories of officers and directors, and we got a big picture of the folks that donate and direct this Molten Junior Livestock Association.
It takes a lot of volunteers to put those things on, and parents and town members do a great job. It's definitely livestock season around here.
Yeah, in these towns, that's the way it is. Every one of them is going to have a stock show, at least every one I ever saw. Anyway, let's go on down Molten Sports. Mark Luby's got 2 stories in here. Welder beat the Molten Bobcats, and then he's got another one about the Kittens, and they won 60-12 over Welder. Classifieds again, we always mention them. And then on the back page, Bobby's got some more livestock winners from Molten, and he's got a picture here about Heather Oliveris, shown here with Superintendent Renee Fairchild and high school principal Jamie Dornop. And they got some good news last week, and Oliveris was picked one of the best in Texas, UIL workshop. Basically, that's about all I've got. Have you got anything you want to talk about? Or?
Oh, no. It's been a great week in news. There's a lot of, like we said, livestock shows going on. Please support those kids. There's a lot of chamber banquets coming up. Check your local papers for those. I think Hallettsville's is coming up, Yoakum, Shiner. Just check your papers. It's all in there. You can buy tickets, support those chambers. They support your businesses.
You bet. Well, folks, I guess that's going to be all. I'm really happy to have Michelle back on here. And anyway, folks, thanks for being here. And I'm going to let Michelle wrap it up and tell you goodbye.
All right. Well, thanks for having me again, Murray. Y'all check Murray out every week on his podcast. I'm sure I will make another appearance as long as I pass this test. But I have fun, and check us out online and your newspaper stands every week.
All righty. Goodbye, everybody.